Welcome back to Dateline New Haven. I'm Paul Bass, inviting you to look behind the headlines and the stories that make our community tick. Rino Ferrarese is in here. He's one of the leaders in the private industry for legal cannabis, both as a grower and a retailer. Rino is the president of Affinity Grow, one of the main indoor cannabis production facilities in the state. He's in Portland. And here in New Haven, he co-owns the first of the 5 dispensaries that got up and running when we legalized cannabis a few years ago, recreational use, Affinity Health and Wellness on Whaley Avenue. Rino, welcome back to Dateline.
Thank you for having me, Paul.
So how many, has it been 3 years now, legalized recreational use almost?
January of 2023. Yep.
So how's it going? Is the industry doing well? I'm hearing a little bit about a shakeout. We're not getting much revenue as we thought, and the smoke shops are tearing into the business. Is that true, or is it overall still a thriving industry right now?
The industry is growing. It has grown since medical, but not at the rate that we had anticipated because there were factors that we couldn't anticipate back when the program was first contemplated. For example, there's pressure from the illegal vape shops. You're seeing articles all over the place. There was an overabundance of product from legal states, like Oklahoma was producing 64 times what the medical program required, 64x. So the rest of the 63x that they weren't using was making its way into different states. And
I thought in Connecticut you have to buy.
You do. I'm saying how the black market was fueled. These illegal vape shops.
Okay.
Yeah, these illegal shops where they're sourcing their products from. So it's from legal states that are just overproducing. And then of course there's black market grows, and they call them guerrilla grows, sort of out in the woods and stuff. But really most of it's coming from structured programs that don't have heavy enforcement, that don't have good regulation.
Meaning stopping them, because it's not just Connecticut. I mean, I was recently driving in New York, and I was shocked. Anytime you go get gas at a convenience store, right there on display are pre-rolls. I mean, so there's not even an attempt not to. It's kind of weird. No,
because there was. I think at worst it was decriminalized. It's a small fine. So even if they got in trouble.
Although New Haven now they're talking about maybe $30,000 fines. Their proposal for selling in a store.
The one up in it was in East Haven. The operator, I don't want to say the name, but I think their fine was substantial. It was hundreds of thousands. It might have been in.
So is fines just the answer?
This one, I think they added there's a felony component to it.
No, but I mean for you, as someone who grows cannabis legally, who sells recreational cannabis legally, is the answer for you fines and prison to get people to stop selling at field shops?
I have to be careful. I answer. I don't want anybody going to prison for cannabis.
Right. You don't want to start that again.
But yeah, no. But it would just be a lot of these products are passed off as if they were legitimate, as if they came from the program, that they were tested, and you're defrauding people, and that's not right. The stuff that we produce in the program is highly regulated.
Are there enough customers who say, I don't want nitazines or whatever they're called, or in my cannabis? So are there enough people to go to the dispensaries to keep the industry viable?
There are. And a lot of people buy, the majority of folks who consume from dispensaries.
Is that true?
Yeah, they do, but they're going up to the other state to buy it because there's better tax rates there.
But not from New Haven. They don't drive to Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's not that far. It's not that bad of a ride. You go up. I don't want to say.
but you're blowing the money on the gas that you would save.
So the taxes are substantially.
Could you save enough on tax? Give me an example. Someone's going to buy what, and how much would it cost, and would it really be worth the time and money to fill your gas tank?
So the Connecticut prices have come down a lot since last time I was here. But let's say you buy an eighth of flour for $40. You can buy an eighth on sale in Mass for probably $20-$25. And the main thing is the tax in Connecticut. You get priced on, I'd say, what do they call it? The term is escaping me, but you're taxed on the milligrams of THC. So even if the product is on sale, even if it's $40 product on sale for $25, it still has the same amount of THC. So you're still going to get hit for the same $12 tax. Versus in Massachusetts, it's a percentage of the purchase price. So if it's a 20% sales tax, but now instead of $40, it's $25. It's a $5.
So how would you like? So you want to be how much people are spending? It should be taxed on. Yep. Why did the state do it that way?
Because it would preserve. They anticipated price compression. It was clever. It was intelligent. Because what happens is you have price compression as the market matures, and if you're always taxing that milligrams of THC, that's standard. It'll always be the same.
And is your argument it ended up shooting them in the foot because then people are buying it elsewhere? And is it really significant that they're buying it elsewhere?
Oh, definitely.
And so, give me the name of a product you put out, what it costs at your store to buy it, and what it would cost. So it's $40 versus $25.
Yeah. So if you say 40.
And by the way, you're listening to News Station WNHHFM, broadcast 103.5 from New Haven, Connecticut. Sorry.
No problem. So figure 21%, let's say. $40 product, 21%, $8, $8 and change, versus that product, $25 in mass. That same, even if it's a 20% tax, it's a $5 tax.
And why have the prices come down here?
You're just seeing more as more operators come online and they're producing more.
So more competition.
There's more competition. But I mean, it's a very expensive proposition. The industry costs a lot to get into. It's not only the price of the license, but there's personnel. There's in a grow, our electric bill is $60,000-$70,000 a month, and that's every month. And then we have our labor is the next highest, greatest cost, and everything else behind that. We have the 280E contemplation. We can't take standard and ordinary tax deductions like regular businesses do. So we would have to make $120,000 for what a regular non-cannabis company makes $100,000, because we have to.
So Rino Ferrarese is at the apex of two aspects of our legal recreational cannabis business. He's president of Finny Grow Indoor Cannabis and also co-owner of Finny Health and Wellness. So you say your two big reasons that are cutting into your profits are taxes and smoke shops.
Definitely.
Now, how do you feel being the person owning cannabis businesses who want to set the law on other people selling cannabis in an industry until 5 minutes ago was always done outside the law, and many of us felt the law was wrong not to let people sell cannabis. Now you're in a position where people who fought for decades to make cannabis recreational use legal are now wanting to sick the state that people used to come arrest you to arrest other people. Does that feel weird?
Yeah, I grew up in Bridgeport, so we were always in the middle of it. We were always around it. It was the big bad. A joint was a scary thing, and you get caught with it, and you get in a lot of trouble. But it's surreal now to see it, that you can purchase it legally and it's available. But I think there's still a huge stigma attached to it, because if you calculate the price that you would pay for taxation on a glass of wine, or on a cigarette, and I'm using those are single servings, let's say, or a joint, the tax on a joint is probably 20x times what that tax is.
What
for
would
a
the
glass
dollars
of
be? What would be the actual monetary?
So if you have let's say an eighth of flower is 3.5 grams, and a joint is 1 gram, so 3.5 joints per, let's say per $10 of taxes. So it's like $3. You have paying $3 for a joint of tax, versus on a glass of wine. Figure if you get a liter of wine, say it's a $20 bottle of wine, what would the taxes be? Couple bucks. I think it's like $3. So $3, you have 8 glasses.
Now, how
maybe?
about when they cut you into 3 packs and 5 packs? Those are actually not usually a gram, right? So if you get a 3-pack of a pre-roll, that would be
those are 0.7s. Yeah, okay. So it's 2.1 grams.
So how does
total.
that affect tax?
So it'd be 2.1 grams times.
So still by the
tax
gram.
rate. Yep.
So the other question I had was, how's it feel to be sort of now wanting the man to go after the other dope sellers, right? How does it feel that the whole industry has become so mainstream? So part of the allure, right, of cannabis for our lifetimes was that it was sort of challenging the way society worked, the way people thought, what's considered safe and not safe, how you view reality. Now it's so mainstream, right? They have like corporate products that engineer very high THC levels and, come out in all these kind of gummy products that are used in different ways. How's that been for you? What kind of transition has that made from the way you see the product you sell and its role in society? Are you the man now?
No, I'm not. Actually, we're the local operator. We're the little we're the little engine that could. So the MSOs, the large multi-state operators across the country, they're just a new industry, just trying to get a foothold and
they're
just
like
trying
Philip
to survive.
Morris. And in fact, they probably are, right? KKR.
They are. They get
I mean, John Boehner lobbies for them. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. But they get a bad rap. They really do, and they're trying to do a good job. They were guys who started out, guys and ladies and gentlemen who got together and started a business, and then saw an opportunity to win a license in another state, and now they're in 2 states. They're a multi-state operator, and then now they become some corporate bad guy. That's the metamorphosis. In reality, they're not bad people.
But how's it the way we view cannabis now as a society? Do we now view it like wine? Or is there any kind of, is it countercultural or is it cultural now?
It still is. It really still is, because if you look at cannabis, the lethal dose of cannabis. Do you know what the lethal dose is? How much you would have to take to kill you? The National Institute of Health has been funding anti-cannabis research since the 70s. They've 95% of the dollars that have gone to research it have gone to prove that it's bad for you. They still can't prove that it kills you. Every once in a while, I'll see an article, first confirmed cannabis death, and it's just not true. And you read into it, and then it was like the guy got hit by a bus. He was high, and he fell asleep on the road, and he got hit by a bus. I'm joking, but it's something that's silly. It's cannabis related. So even though it doesn't have a lethal dose, we still treat it like you can't bring a minor into a dispensary with you. If you went in with someone who has a card, if you came in with me, I have my driver's license, you don't have your driver's license, you can't come in.
Is there any small part of you that relates to the people, the smoke shops, roots from, or no? No, because you have to follow the rules. I mean, I've not followed the rules in life and been made to pay consequences. And when was that?
Every throughout my teenage years, my early 20s. Yeah,
Right.
I've done.
But now you're doing well. So how many people you got working for you?
We got about 50 people between a total of 100 people between 2 stores, Bridgeport, New Haven, and then the Grow in Portland.
And are you making a profit?
We're covering our debt, and we're paying people salaries, and they have health insurance and all the things we're supposed to do. We're meeting our commitments, but as to profitability, there's nothing profit.
Do you see profitability in the future?
Hopefully, it's tight. It's tight.
And why is that? Because it wasn't as big as you thought it was going to be a market, partly because of our competitive disadvantage on taxation, partly because of the smoke shops. Any other reason?
Black market's ever present. The hemp industry produces products that are legal, but they're kind of grayer. So there's a lot of competition for the population that we're all serving.
And what about advertising? You guys aren't allowed to advertise the same way, right?
We're not allowed. That's very difficult. Trying to sell a product that you cannot market.
So what do you do about that?
There are some things we can do. We can direct through our website. Through direct marketing, you can opt in to get our marketing directly to you.
I actually think Affinity's best advertise just what a big location it is. It's right at a major intersection, a big building with a big sign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that definitely helps.
So the word does get out. But you're doing okay, Reno. Your big options.
No
so you
complaints.
just want to change some. Do you want the $30,000 fine to pass in New Haven?
So explain the fine to me.
It's under state law now. You're allowed to fine people $30,000 for selling illegal cannabis at a smoke shop. They want to enact that law in New Haven, which is like more than $100 a day, whatever they pay now.
So if a store owner is willing to sell it, are they confident that it doesn't have pesticides in it, or that it doesn't have anything that could potentially?
No, would you like the government to enact that law to fine these people $30,000?
I just wish that they would have listened the first time, and we didn't have to get to this point. They're not supposed to sell it, and they shouldn't sell it. I don't know that I want to see anybody get whacked over the head that hard, but maybe something that they would contemplate wanting to sell it again. They got, first time slap on the wrist, and maybe the second time, maybe something a little stiffer. I don't know about 30,000, but maybe.
All right. Well, Reno, so nice to see you. I'm glad you're going strong.
We're doing our best.
Affinity Grow, Affinity Health and Wellness. Are you going to go up to the state capitol, try to get them to make the changes on taxation?
We do. There's the taxation changes. There were some testing changes that we had an opportunity to really get ahead of the game and really sort of set some policy that leads the nation. The FDA has implemented some testing requirements. They created a monograph.
So you did pass at the legislature new testing requirements, or did that through the regulatory process?
We're constantly refining and improving and learning. And
so what has changed in testing?
As far as just the way that when we're pulling samples, how we're pulling samples, what tests we're doing. A lot of the tests.
Well, we talked about mold. You guys have been failing some mold tests, right? And you're saying it's because they're looking at mold the wrong way?
So yeah, cannabis is a botanical. It's an article of botanical origin. That's how the United States, the Food and Drug Administration classifies it, like echinacea or St. John's wort. These are herbal products that are used as medicine, and they published a compendium called the Herbal Medicine Compendium, and within it talks about how to test products of botanical origin. But the way that cannabis historically has been tested is if it was a tablet, like a Tylenol or something. It's not a sterile product. It shouldn't be sterile. It's grown in a garden, right? Gardens aren't sterile. So if you have higher elevated micro counts or mold counts, that's expected because it's a plant.
And it's not bad for you to consume the cannabis with the mold?
No, because what's on the plant is going to be, there was a great article that they ran up in Massachusetts. The stuff that's growing on a plant is it might be, it's likely benign. It doesn't impact humans. It's a plant. If it's a pathogen, it's a plant pathogen. You know, of course you test for E. coli and staph and the things that can hurt humans, but
So you're saying the mold can't hurt you?
no, it can't. And
So has that changed? Are you still tested that way with the mold?
we do. We still test for it. We still test for Aspergillus. Everybody. That's
But has the
big
state
theory.
changed its standards on this or no?
Nope, we still do. We still do the micro testing and report the colony forming units. But a better thing to look at would be moisture, water activity, because if there's no water activity, if there's no water in the flower, microbes can't grow. So if you're below a 0.6, then you're not going to have microbial growth. And then we also test for aflatoxin, which is the metabolic byproduct of it's what people are responding to. It creates an anaphylactic reaction. These aflatoxins. And we actually test for the presence of aflatoxin in every single batch. And if they're not there, and if your water activity is below 0.6, then the product is super safe.
All right. Well, Rino Ferrarese, it's so great to catch up with you. You're always welcome back here.
Thank you.
At Dateline New Haven. Thanks to Harry Dross. We're taking it out again with the Afro-Semitic experience performing. I wish I knew how it feel to be free. From the group CD, A Plea for Peace. It's Paul Bass inviting you to fly free with us all day and all night at WNHA.